Hello friends, we are on day 3 of our quick revision batch. Myself CA Rakesh Agrawal, gold medalist in cost and management accounting. Today I'll tell you a little bit about our website. Our website is www.carakeshagrawal.in. You will get the full range of our video lectures on this website. They are available for sale on this website. Like if anybody wish to purchase the regular batch or a full revision batch contains the questions also, selected questions along with the theory. So all these products are available on this website. If you visit this website, then you'll have to scroll down on the home page and you have to select the appropriate course category. Actually, we have created the course category like CA Final New Syllabus, CA Final Old Syllabus, Intermediate New Syllabus and IPCC Old Syllabus. So you have to select the proper course category out of this, and in that you will find the different products. So you may order online from this website and you will get the delivery of product by courier at your registered address. So from our website, you will find all these products available for sale. Do visit the website sometimes. Friends, let us begin with our chapter 3 today. So chapter 3, that is labor cost, also known as employee cost. Whatever salaries and wages which we pay to the employees or our workers, right, that is all covered in this chapter, chapter 3. Right, labor cost, older name, and new name in the module is employee cost. In this chapter, we will revise labor remuneration system and labor turnover, which are more important from exam point of view. These two things we will revise in this chapter. First of all, let's go to a classification of direct indirect labor. I had dealt with this classification on day 1 also, if you remember. All cost, that is material, labor and expenses, we had divided in 2 parts, direct and indirect. So similarly, labor cost will get divided in 2 parts, direct and indirect labor. Labor cost is a manpower cost first of all, right? That is the salaries and wages to employees, I have already told you. Labor cost is divided in 2 parts, that is direct labor cost and indirect labor cost. I will repeat once again, the cost which is directly associated with the cost object. Cost object means the product which you are manufacturing, which can be conveniently associated with that product, is called direct labor cost. And generally the supervisory people, right, or people on the higher post who do not practically work on the product, but who are doing the work of supervision or administration and so on, and without getting involved in the production, it is very difficult to attach their salary to each product produced, and therefore their salaries and wages is called indirect labor cost. So that is direct and indirect labor cost classification. Direct labor cost is directly charged to production as a part of prime cost. If you can recollect, prime cost consists of direct material, direct labor and direct expenses. So this direct labor cost will form part of prime cost. And what will happen to indirect labor cost then? Indirect labor cost is charged to respective overheads account. So indirect labor cost will get clubbed in the overheads. Now we had seen 3 types of overheads, if you remember: factory overheads, administration overheads and selling and distribution overheads. So indirect labor cost incurred for manufacturing activity, that is in the factory, will go to factory overheads. All administrative staff salary. Administrative staff is never involved in manufacturing the goods. Therefore administrative staff salary is always indirect cost as far as production is concerned. So entire administrative staff salary will go to administration overheads, and entire salaries and wages of selling and distribution staff will go to selling and distribution overheads, because sales staff is also not involved in direct production of each product. Therefore selling and distribution staff salary entirely will go to selling and distribution overheads. Administrative staff salary will entirely go to administration overheads. But only in case of manufacturing labor, it is divided in 2 parts. The labor directly engaged in production is direct labor cost, which goes to prime cost, and indirect labor cost will go to indirect labor cost of factory workers will go to factory overheads. Now let's move to labor remuneration system. It is the most important area of labor cost topic, that is labor remuneration system. We will try to understand various methods of labor remuneration using some key data. So I'll use some data just to explain the various methods of labor remuneration. Now an important note for you. Please note that as per the revised module of ICAI, now there are only 4 methods of labor remuneration for your study. And these 4 methods are time rate, piece rate, Halsey and Rowan. That's all. Now in recent few batches I have taught only these 4, but in the earlier batches I had taught all the methods which were there in the earlier module. So the older students will remember that there were some other methods also, like Taylor's differential piece rate system, Gantt-Task bonus plan, Merrick's differential systems, Beddock's plan, and so on. Now all these have become redundant. These all methods are removed by the institute from the new module and they are no more applicable for your examination. It means in labor topic they have reduced your syllabus a little bit. So only 4 methods are there for your study: time rate, piece rate, Halsey and Rowan. So the remaining methods you may forget, they won't be asked now here onwards in the exam of ICAI. Now we'll take some key data. What I will request you that if you can have a piece of paper and pen, you can write down this data. I'll give you some time to write down this data, or you'll have to keep it in your memory. Now choice is yours. Either write it down on a piece of paper or keep it in the memory, and we'll need a calculator also. So with the help of this data, we'll try to revise the labor remuneration system. The key data which you have to write down on somewhere on the piece of paper: time rate is rupees 30 per hour. Time rate is 30 per hour. It means if a worker works for 1 hour, we are ready to pay him rupees 30. Standard time allowed for one piece is 20 minutes. It means we allow the worker 20 minutes to manufacture one piece or 1 unit of finished product, 1 unit of output. So this standard time is set by the management using time and motion study, if you can recall. So using that time and motion study, they have set the standard time allowed to produce one piece as 20 minutes. So please remember or write down that standard time for one piece is 20 minutes. Time rate is rupees 30 per hour. Now we'll calculate piece rate per unit. From these two information, we can calculate piece rate per unit, that is rate per unit of output. So we are converting this time rate per hour into rate per unit. Now logically speaking, this 30 rupees is for 1 hour, means for 60 minutes. If you are ready to pay 30 rupees for 60 minutes, how much you will be ready to pay for 20 minutes? How much you will be ready to pay for 20 minutes? If for 60 minutes you are ready to pay 30 rupees, for 20 minutes naturally you will be ready to pay 10 rupees. So using this cross multiplication, right, we can get how much we have to pay for 1 unit. Like for 60 minutes, rupees 30. So for 20 minutes required for one piece, how much? So 20 minutes into 30 rupees divided by 60. This is what is written here. So time rate can be converted into piece rate, provided you are given standard time allowed to do or produce 1 unit of output. Is this clear to you? So from this time rate we have got piece rate, and piece rate is 10 per unit. Now what is the difference between these two? Here we will pay at the rate of 30 per hour on the basis of time spent by worker, and using this method, piece rate method, we will pay the worker based on per unit which he has produced. We will pay 10 rupees per unit of output. So it's one is piece rate, one is time rate. We'll take an example of 3 workers. Those 3 workers, they have worked for 8 hours in a day, a working day of 8 hours, and in 8 hours their actual production is, actual production of worker A is 30 units, means A has produced 30 units in a day of 8 working hours. Worker B has produced 24 units in the same day of 8 hours, and worker C has produced 20 units in 8 hours. So all the 3 workers have worked for 8 hours, but their output is different. Now you will notice in the same time, if worker A is producing more, means he is more efficient. worker B is producing lesser than A, so he is less efficient as compared to A, and worker C is producing only 20 units, so he is least efficient worker because they are producing lesser and lesser. You may write down this data, right, on a piece of paper, and then we will go ahead. Right, or keep it in the memory. Time rate 30 per hour, piece rate is 10 per unit, standard time allowed to produce one piece is 20 minutes, and workers have actually worked for 8 hours and 3 workers have produced. A has produced 30 units, B has produced 24 units, and C has produced 20 units. Let's begin with this data and we will discuss 4 remuneration systems. First one, time rate system, the simplest method of labor remuneration, where we pay the workers on the basis of time spent by that worker in the factory. Here the formula of wages is rate per hour into number of hours worked. Now instead of rate per hour, somewhere it could be rate per day. If it is rate per day, then you will multiply it by number of days. We call it as daily wages, number of days worked. If it is rate per week, then you will multiply by number of weeks, and so on. But you will have to take the rate for time. Time could be measured in hours, in days, in weeks. But most of the time, from exam point of view, you will say 99% time the rate per hour is given. So we are using this formula, rate per hour into number of hours worked. Now if you recall the data, each of the 3 workers had worked for 8 hours. So they will get the payment for 8 hours. And what was the time rate? If you remember, time rate was 30 per hour. Means if a worker works for 1 hour, he will get 30 rupees. So if he works for 8 hours, how much he will get? Naturally 8 hours into rupees 30. So A's wages will be rupees 30 per hour into 8 hours, that is rupees 240. B's wages also will be rupees 30 per hour. He has also worked for 8 hours. He will also get rupees 240. And C's wages, he has also worked for 8 hours and 30 per hour, he will also get rupees 240. Now you might be surprised that worker A was very efficient. He had produced more, B had produced less, and C had produced the least, but still all are getting the same wages. And that is the drawback of time rate system. As you are making the payment on the basis of time and not on the basis of output or efficiency of workers, as time spent by each one of them is 8 hours, so naturally they will get for same wages, that is rupees 240. Therefore, time rate system is not very popular because it doesn't reward the efficient worker or it doesn't punish the inefficient worker. However, this method still works because if there are certain areas where you cannot measure the output, if it is not quantifiable, output is not quantifiable or countable, then you have no option but to adopt the time rate system where you will make the payment on the basis of time. And in real life, you will find at so many places the wages and salaries are calculated on the basis of time. But if it is possible to calculate output generated by each worker, if it is possible, then there is a better system, and that is second one, piece rate system. So time rate system, everyone will get the same if their hours worked are same. Naturally, if hours worked are different, the wages will be different. So in this system, wages are provided irrespective of efficiency and output produced by the worker. This drawback we will remove in the second method, and that is piece rate system. Now if you remember, when we took the key data, the piece rate we had calculated. Piece rate means rate for 1 unit of output. Now 1 unit requires 20 minutes, and for 20 minutes we are ready to pay 10 rupees. So 10 rupees was the rate per unit. So wages, the formula of wages is very simple, rate per unit into number of units produced. This rate per unit itself is called as piece rate. Piece rate and rate per unit means one and the same. Rate per piece into number of pieces produced, you can say. Now recall how many units A had produced. So A's wages. See, rate per unit was 10 and A had produced 30 units if you have written down the data. So for each unit we are ready to pay 10 rupees. So for 30 units we will pay him 300 rupees. Similarly, B's wages. Rate will be the same, 10 per unit, but B had produced 24 units. So he will get the payment for 24 units into 10, that is rupees 240. And C had produced only 20 units. So he will get the payment for 20 units at the rate of 10 rupees per unit. So he will get only 200. Now you will notice the difference in the wages earned by efficient and inefficient worker. A has earned highest wages because he is most efficient. B has earned lowest wages because he is least efficient. So piece rate system is a better way to reward the efficiency as compared to time rate system. But the drawback of this system is the output should be measurable, should be quantifiable, then only it is possible. Like you people are going to become chartered accountants, how to measure your output? The service which you will provide to the organization, how to measure your output? It is very difficult, it is not quantifiable. Therefore, you will get a monthly salary. So, you will be paid on the basis of time only. Now, we move ahead to third. Third is Halsey premium plan. These are also known as bonus systems, right? Or incentive schemes. Incentive and bonus all means one and the same. So, Halsey system and Rowan system are known as incentive schemes or bonus schemes. We'll first study Halsey. Here the total wages are divided in two parts. One part is basic wages, another part is the incentive bonus. Just incentive, just bonus or incentive bonus is one and the same. Now these basic wages are nothing but the time wages. We had just now seen the wages payable on the basis of time rate system. That time rate wages are also known as basic wages, also known as normal wages. So basic wages are same as time wages. Basic wages are same as called as normal wages. All means one and the same. And this bonus, calculation of bonus or calculation of incentives depend upon the efficiency of worker. A worker who is efficient will get the bonus. A worker who is inefficient will not get the bonus. So bonus may be positive or bonus could be zero. Bonus will never be negative, please remember. Incentive bonus will never be negative. So the peculiarity of this method is that in this method everyone will get guaranteed basic wages, and therefore basic wages are also known as guaranteed wages, because basic wages will be paid to every worker irrespective of efficiency, and incentive bonus will be paid only to efficient worker, will not be paid to inefficient workers. So let us see the detailed formula now. Basic wages is same time rate formula, that is hours worked into rate per hour, and incentive bonus formula is this. Under Halsey system, the bonus is calculated as 50% of time saved into rate per hour. 50% of time saved into rate per hour. This is the way to calculate the incentive bonus. Now what's the logic behind it? If a worker has saved some time, then we convert that time saved, we multiply it by rate per hour. Suppose time saved is 5 hours, just for example's sake. And our rate at which we make the payment to workers is rupees 30 per hour. So if worker has saved 5 hours into 30 per hour, our organization has saved 5 hours into 30 means rupees 150. Correct? Out of this saving, we will pass on 50% by way of bonus to the worker. So the logic is whatever financial saving is done due to the efficiency of worker, out of that saving 50% will be passed on to the worker. That is how the bonus will be calculated, and hence bonus formula under Halsey system is 50% of time saved into rate per hour. Now how to calculate this time saved? Time saved has to be, this one has to be calculated very carefully, otherwise there is a mistake in calculation. So this time saved is nothing but time allowed minus time taken. Time saved is calculated as time allowed minus time taken. Now time allowed is nothing but your standard time. Standard time which was allowed to complete the job. And time taken is nothing but your actual time. Suppose time allowed for a particular work was 10 hours. And a worker did that work in just 8 hours. So 10 hours job done in 8 hours means a worker has saved 2 hours. That is how the logic goes. So time saved is time allowed minus time taken. Now how to calculate time allowed? And that is an important point. This time allowed is calculated as standard time required for actual output. Don't forget this. Actual output is important. This is an accident spot. You have to always calculate a standard time required for actual output. Those who are able to recollect standard costing, if you are able to recollect, because you are the students of regular batch. In standard costing, when we calculate efficiency variance, we calculate standard time required for actual output, and then we compare it with actual time taken. Actual time is always taken for actual output, and then we calculate the efficiency variance if you are able to recollect. If you are confused, forget about it. Now let's go back. Time allowed is calculated as standard time required for actual output, and time taken, this one, time taken is actual hours worked. Actual hours are always worked for actual output. It means both this time, standard time as well as actual time, are at the same base. The base is actual output. The base is actual output. For same actual output, how much time a worker should have taken, and for same actual output, how much time worker has actually taken. How much he should have taken and how much time he has actually taken for same output. So when base is same, the comparison is logical, and the difference between these two, standard time and actual time, is your time saved. Now let's do it for worker A. You may just try how much standard time is allowed to worker A. Just try on a calculator. Right, I think you are smart students and you must have got the correct answer. See, I have just now told you that standard time is always calculated for actual output. Now worker A's actual output is 30 units. If you have noted down on a piece of paper, that is the reason I have told you that to note down it on a piece of paper. He has produced actually 30 units, and we allow 20 minutes for one piece. Standard time allowed for one piece is 20 minutes. If he has produced 30 units, we were expecting to produce 30 units in how much time? Each unit 20 minutes. So 30 units are expected to be produced in 600 minutes, and 600 minutes means divided by 60 minutes, you will get 10 hours. It means a worker A was expected to produce these 30 units in 10 hours, but actually he has produced it in 8 hours. That is actual time taken by worker. So how much time he has saved? 2 hours. 2 hours is actual time saved. This is the way we calculate. So time allowed for one unit is 20 minutes, and therefore for actual output 30 units, the time allowed is how much? And that time allowed is how much? Is 30 units into 20 minutes, that is 600 minutes, and that is 10 hours. And therefore time saved by A is 10 hours minus 8 hours is equal to 2 hours. So you will get bonus for these 2 hours. And if you remember the Halsey's formula for bonus, bonus is 50% of this time saved, but that is only bonus. Please remember, he will also get basic wages. Actually all workers will get basic wages, but basic wages are always paid for actual time. Don't forget that, using time rate system. Actual time worked by the worker is 8 hours. So he will get wages for 8 hours, that is basic wages or guaranteed wages, and he will get bonus, 50% bonus for 2 hours saved. Therefore A's wages will be, I have repeated the formula, hours worked into rate per hour plus bonus formula is 50% of time saved into rate per hour. So hours worked, that is actual hours worked, are 8 into 30 rupees per hour. This is your time rate wages, and 50% of 2 hours into 30 rupees. 2 hours into 30 is 60 rupees. 60 rupees into 50% is 30 rupees. That is 30 rupees is the bonus. So basic wages 240, that is time wages 240 plus 30 rupees bonus, and the worker will get rupees 270, that is worker A's wages. Now let's do the similar calculation for worker B. You can try what should be the standard time allowed for worker B. Just try. I'll wait for some time. Standard time allowed for worker B. Do you remember how many units worker B had actually produced? If you have written down the data, worker B had produced 24 units. And for each unit we allow 20 minutes time. So for 24 units, how much time you will allow a worker? 480 minutes. Correct? 24 units he has actually produced. Each unit we allow standard time 20 minutes. So for 24 units we will allow him 480 minutes. This is standard time allowed for actual output. Divided by 60 minutes and you will get 8 hours. So you will get, I think, 8 hours. This is standard time. And actual time taken by worker B was also 8 hours. So allowed was also 8. Time taken is also 8. So there is no time saved. 0 time saved. So time allowed is 24 units into 20 minutes, that is 480 minutes, that is 8 hours. Time actually taken by worker A is also 8 hours. So time saved by B is 8 minus 8, 0 time saved. If 0 time is saved, bonus will not be given. But basic wages will be given to every worker, naturally. So worker B will get basic wages but no bonus. So as no time is saved by worker B, no bonus is payable to him. Please remember, no bonus is payable to him. Don't treat it as no wages is payable to him. No bonus is payable to him. Only the basic wages shall be given. And therefore, B's wages are 8 hours into 30 per hour. This is your time wages as per time rate system. These are called guaranteed wages, basic wages. So you will get only basic wages, that is rupees 240. Now we'll go to worker C. If you remember, worker C had produced only 20 units. So time allowed for 20 units is 20 units into 20 minutes, that is 400 minutes, which is equal to 6.67 hours. This is time allowed, standard time. And time taken is 8 hours. He has taken more time. So time saved will be 6.67 time allowed minus 8 hours is actual time taken. So time saved is negative. Please remember, negative time saved is treated as no time saved. So you will convert it as 0 time saved because bonus cannot be negative. So if time saved comes negative, you have to treat it as 0 or no time saved. So negative time saved is treated as no time saved and hence only basic wages are payable. No bonus will be given. I repeat, bonus is never negative. Don't calculate negative bonus amount. You cannot take the money from workers. You can give the money to workers. So negative time saved is 0 time saved. But every worker is guaranteed to get basic wages. And therefore C's wages will be same, that is 8 hours into 30 rupees, that is 240. This 240 everyone will get. That is the peculiarity of this incentive scheme. As I had explained you earlier, every worker will get basic wages. Every worker will get basic wages and bonus will be given only to efficient worker. Inefficient worker will not get bonus, but every worker will get basic wages. Now we go to the fourth method, and that is row 1 system. This is another incentive scheme which is similar to Halsey, only the formula of bonus will change. So the basic formula, main formula is same. Total wages is basic wages. Basic wages means again time wages plus incentive bonus. Only this formula will now change. The calculation of bonus will change. And the formula is this. Basic wages is hours worked into rate per hour, no change. This incentive bonus is this formula. This is the formula for incentive bonus. See how this formula is designed. It is time saved upon time allowed into hours worked into rate per hour. Now hours worked into rate per hour means basic wages. Again, but you are taking what proportion of basic wages? Proportion of time saved to time allowed of basic wages is the bonus amount. So can I write it like this? This whole bracket is basic wages. This whole bracket is basic wages. So I can say total wages payable is basic wages plus bonus is equal to time saved upon time allowed of basic wages. Means proportion of time saved to time allowed of basic wages is the amount of bonus. Now we'll see the calculation of worker A, but I'll explain it here. It will appear in the next slide. Worker A's basic wages was, if you remember, 240 rupees. That is 8 hours worked into rupees 30 per hour. Now how we will get bonus of worker A? If you remember, worker A had saved 2 hours. So time saved is 2 hours. And time allowed, that is standard time allowed to worker A was 10, if you remember. C was allowed 10 hours, but he had actually taken 8 hours. Therefore, he had saved 2 hours. So 10 hours work he completed in 2 hours. So we take the proportion of time saved to time allowed into again basic wages, that is 240. 2 by 10, this is 20% proportion. 2 hours saved out of 10 hours allowed is 20%. So 20% of 240 is the amount of bonus, which will be 48 rupees bonus. It means basic wages is 240, which is constant, and bonus amount will be 48. That is this answer. 2 by 10 of 240, that is 20% of 240. So that is how you can calculate the wages of worker A. So A's wages, this part will remain constant in Halsey and in Rowan, both basic wages will remain same, 8 hours into 30, and in plus 2 by 10 into same basic wages, which I have already explained to you. So it is 240 basic wages plus 48 rupees bonus, that is 288 rupees. Now think how much B and C will get. If you remember, B and C had saved no time. No time means 0 time saved. Negative time is also 0 time saved. If they have not saved any time, and if the numerator becomes 0, I think the whole answer will become 0. So answer of this entire bracket will become 0. It means worker B and C will get only basic wages, no bonus. That is the same logic here. Everyone will get basic wages and only efficient worker will get incentive bonus. Inefficient worker will not get bonus. So worker B and C have saved no time and hence only basic wages are payable to them, that is rupees 240 to each one of them. Bonus amount is 0 for worker B and C. So these are the only 4 remuneration systems now: time rate, piece rate, Halsey and Rowan. And in Halsey and Rowan, you have to only remember the formula of incentive bonus, because this formula is same as time rate wages. In Halsey, the incentive is 50% of time saved into rate per hour, and under Rowan scheme, the bonus formula is time saved upon time allowed into basic wages. That's all you have to remember. Now I am discussing some formula for calculation of efficiency using the same data which we had just now seen. This formula of efficiency will be required at various places elsewhere, but I have the data ready now, therefore I am discussing the formula of efficiency now. So first we will see the time based formula of efficiency. I am using the same data of this question of worker ABC and will calculate the efficiency of these 3 workers in percentage. This is the formula. The formula of efficiency, please remember, this is an important formula, will be required somewhere else in some other chapter or topic. Efficiency is standard time, that is standard time allowed, divided by actual time, that is actual time taken. So standard time upon actual time is the formula of efficiency. And if you want to convert it into percentage, naturally into 100 will convert it into percentage. So standard time upon actual time into 100 is the formula of efficiency using time. Now let us see A's efficiency. If you remember, A was allowed 10 hours, but he actually took 8 hours. He completed the work in 8 hours. So 10 upon 8 into 100. Just use your calculator. 10 divided by 8 into 100. Into 100 is just for percentage. And I think you will get 125%. So we will say A is 125% efficient. This is just to indicate how much efficient the worker is, to compare the efficiency of 3 workers. So A's efficiency is 125%. Now you do the calculation of B's efficiency using the data earlier. Take the data of B and calculate the efficiency of B. What was the standard time of B, if you remember? Standard time is standard time required for actual output. I think B's standard time was 8 hours and B has actually also taken 8 hours. So B's efficiency will be 8 upon 8, that is 100%. B's efficiency is 8 hours upon 8 hours. Into 100, you will get naturally 100%. That is B's efficiency. Now recollect C. C is the standard time. If I remember correctly, we had calculated as 6.67 in Halsey system. But B has actually taken 8 hours. So he took 8 hours to do the same work which was expected from him in 6.67 hours. So his efficiency will be lower. So C's efficiency is 6.67 divided by 8 into 100 if you want to do. So his efficiency is 83.33%. That is the efficiency of C. So this is the way we can do the comparative analysis of efficiency of 3 workers by converting it into percentage. And the formula is standard time upon actual time. Now we will do it once again using other formula. I will use output based formula of efficiency. Here we will take output as a calculation data for calculation of efficiency. The efficiency of 3 workers will remain the same, but data will change. So I'll use the same data again, but the formula of efficiency, output based formula, is actual output divided by standard output. Actual output divided by standard output. Now if you remember, actual output of 3 workers was, A's output was 30 units, B's output was 24 units, and C's output was 20 units. That is your numerator for 3 workers. That is actual output which was given in the question. Now we need to calculate standard output. Please remember, standard output is always calculated for actual time. Standard output for actual time is standard output expected in actual hours. I repeat, standard output expected in actual hours. Now all the 3 workers have actually worked for 8 hours. All the 3 workers have taken, each of them have taken 8 hours. Now we want to know in 8 hours what was expected from them. The expected output in actual time of 8 hours is known as standard output. Now see, we expected 1 unit in 20 minutes. From where I got this? I think in the question or in that data we had seen standard time allowed for 1 piece is 20 minutes. So in 20 minutes we expect 1 unit. So in 8 hours, how many units we will expect? You convert 8 hours into what? Minutes. First convert 8 hours into minutes, multiplying by 60. So 480 minutes. So in 480 minutes, how much you will expect? If in 20 minutes you are expecting 1 unit, then in 480 minutes how much you will expect? That expected output is called standard output. And if you have done this calculation, you will get 480 into 1 divided by 20. In 20 minutes we expect 1 unit, so in 480 minutes how much? I think you will get this as 24 units. So 24 units will be the standard output. I repeat, 24 units will be the standard output for worker A also, B also, and C also. The denominator will be same. Why same? Because all of them have worked for 8 hours each. So A's efficiency, A's actual output 30 units divided by standard output 24 units into 100. You can calculate using calculator. You will get the same answer, that is 125%. The same answer which you had calculated earlier using time rate formula, you will get it now using output formula also. These formulas are important up to CA final, please remember, and students generally confuse between these two. B's efficiency. B's actual output was 24 units. Standard output we have already calculated 24, which is constant. So it will be 100%. And C's efficiency. C had produced 20 units, but he was expected to produce 24 units. So 20 divided by 24 into 100. If you do, you will get 83.33%. Just again check. Earlier also we got the same answer. See, this was the same answer using time rate formula. This was time rate formula. Efficiency was same, correct? And now we have used output based formula. This one, this formula, actual output divided by standard output. The efficiency will remain same, right? Both the ways answer will remain same, but data changes. Now we will move to labor turnover concept. Labor turnover. Labor turnover is the speed of change in the composition of workforce. Suppose in my organization there are around 200 workers, just assume. But these 200 workers, this composition of 200 workers may change because some workers may leave the job and some new workers may get added or employed in my organization. So I may have 200 workers on an average, but some workers leave, some join. So this composition keeps on changing. If you want to calculate the speed of that change, speed of the change in the composition of workforce is calculated using a formula, and that is known as labor turnover. That answer is known as labor turnover ratio, because you express that speed of change in the composition of workforce in the form of a mathematical ratio. So labor turnover is the speed at which the composition of workforce is changing in your organization. Labor turnover should generally be lower in the organization. If we calculate that ratio or percentage, that ratio should be as low as possible. Naturally, do you want the composition of workforce to change very fast in your organization? Naturally, no one would wish to. Because if that change or speed of change in the composition of workforce is high, it will cause increase in production cost. High labor turnover will lead to higher production cost. Lower labor turnover will lead to lower production cost. Now you will say how? See, if the speed of change is faster, means labor turnover is higher, your majority time will be spent in just appointing the new workers and discharging the old workers. Then you'll have to spend money on training the new workers who are coming in. Then the efficiency of new workers also will be lower, so they will be giving you lower output as compared to efficient workers, and all this will finally lead to higher cost. That is higher cost due to recruitment, training, appointment, right? All this and will lead to higher cost. Plus there will be a loss of production also. Suppose a worker has left, and by the time new worker joins, there is a time gap between worker leaving and worker joining of 2 weeks. In that 2 weeks, you have lost the production of that worker. So all this is not good. Therefore, every management tries to keep the labor turnover ratio as low as possible. Lower turnover ratio is always preferred as compared to higher labor turnover ratio. Now, management is interested in knowing the causes for labor turnover, because unless you know the causes, how you will keep control on labor turnover ratio. As I said, every organization wants to have lower turnover ratio. So you should know the reason for labor turnover. If you know the reasons, that is causes, then you can take some suitable action and try to reduce the turnover ratio. And the causes are broadly divided into 3 parts. One is personal causes, second is unavoidable causes, and third is avoidable causes. So all the causes why workers leave the organization are divided in 3 parts. We'll discuss them very briefly. Personal causes are the reasons which are personal to that employee, for which management cannot do anything. Like a worker is feeling ill, right? He is unable to adjust with the climate there, right? Or he is feeling homesick, or he is not happy with the work which he is doing. He wants to shift to some better work. So he may. These are all personal causes why a worker leaves, and then you have to appoint the new one. For this, management cannot do anything. Unavoidable causes. These are also unavoidable, for which management cannot do much of the things, like death of a worker, accident of a worker, marriage, right? Or some disciplinary action taken on that worker, or there is a seasonal nature in the industry. There is off season going on when there is no work, so you have to retrain the worker because there is no work in the factory, or the work is lower in off season. So seasonal nature of business and so on. Such could be unavoidable causes. Here also management cannot do anything. From this discussion, you will come to know that in every organization there will be some labor turnover due to these 2 causes. Due to personal causes and unavoidable causes, some labor turnover will always be there in the organization. Now this is the main part. Avoidable. As the word says, these are avoidable causes. It means management can avoid it by taking suitable corrective steps. So management will always concentrate on these reasons, that is avoidable. What could be avoidable reason? You are paying very low remuneration as compared to the industry standard. Therefore, workers are switching over to another company. So what you can do, your organization can generally pay the wages which are on an average paid in that type of industry. You should provide them good facilities like drinking water, right, washroom, good environment. You should maintain good and healthy relationship in the organization. You should have good promotional facilities, right, good training facilities there, promotional policies. So all this, a good environment, a good culture in the organization if you provide, and if you provide the salaries and wages which are at par with similar industries, then workers generally won't leave your organization. So if workers are leaving due to this reason, management has to take some action. These are avoidable causes. Now we will go to calculate the labor turnover ratios, means the mathematical ratios by which we can measure the labor turnover, that is the speed of change. All of you can recall there were three formulas to calculate the labor turnover ratios. The first one is a replacement method. And the formula of replacement method is number of workers replaced during a particular period. The period could be a year, the period could be a quarter, the period could be a month. But generally we calculate the labor turnover ratio for a year, therefore I have written year. So number of workers replaced during the year is the numerator, divided by average number of workers during that particular period. And into 100 is just to convert it into percentage, you know. So 100 is not that significant. Please remember, here we have written number of workers replaced. Number of workers replaced could be different from number of workers joined, or could be different from number of workers left. I want number of workers replaced. Number of workers replaced means the workers who are joining the organization in the position of those workers who have left the organization. Suppose 50 workers have left my organization during the year, but I have taken or appointed only 40 workers in their place. Means 10 seats I have kept vacant because I didn't wanted these people, or this position I want to keep blank. So out of 50 people left the organization, I have appointed only 40. So number of workers replaced are 40, not 50. 50 are left, but replaced are only 40. So here you have to take number of workers replaced divided by average number of workers. How to calculate average number of workers? Average number of workers are calculated as opening number of workers plus closing number of workers divided by 2. That is average. If you are doing it for a year, then you will take opening number of workers at the beginning of the year and closing number of workers at the end of the year divided by 2. Why average is taken? Because number of workers in the organization will keep on fluctuating. If new workers join, our strength will grow. If workers leave, our strength will go down. So number of workers will keep on changing in the organization. And whenever there is a fluctuation, we take average. So you take average workers in the denominator. This is your replacement method formula. Separation method. The formula of separation method is, as the name suggests, number of workers separated. Separated means number of workers left during a particular period. So let us say during the year. So how many workers have left my organization during the year divided by same average number of workers. See, name contains the formula. Replacement method, number of workers replaced in the numerator. Separation method, number of workers separated during the year. Denominator is common, that is average number of workers. This is second way or second method to calculate the labor turnover ratio. Third one is flux method. Now flux method is slightly different. In flux method, we take number of workers joined also and number of workers left also. In flux method, we take number of workers joined as well as number of workers left. Both are clubbed in flux method. So you are taking workers coming into the organization also, you are taking number of workers going out of the organization also, divided by average number of workers into 100. That is the flux method. Now you will notice the answer calculated by flux method will always be higher than answer calculated by replacement method and separation method, because in the numerator you are taking workers coming in as well as going out. Now in some of the literatures or module, it is written as the answer of flux method is equal to answer of first method plus answer of second method. It means this plus this, replacement method plus separation method is equal to flux method. Please remember friends, there is a catch here. It may tally sometimes, it may not tally sometimes. Why? Concentrate on these two words, number of workers replaced and number of workers joined. If these two are same, if number of workers joined and number of workers replaced are same, then the answer will be same. Because here workers left are here. Means second method's data is as it is taken in the third method. But first method's data is not as it is taken. In first method it was number of workers replaced and in third method it is number of workers joined. If workers replaced and workers joined are same, then the answer of flux method will be equal to answer of replacement method plus separation method. However, if number of workers joined are different from workers replaced, then the answers will not match. Then the first two answers will not tally with the total of third answer. It may happen in the organization that there are 200 workers who have joined, but out of 200 workers, 150 workers have come as a replacement, that is this, as a replacement of old workers, and 50 workers have joined new for the first time, which is known as new accession or new recruitment. So total workers joined are 200 in my organization, out of which 150 workers have come as a replacement of old workers and 50 workers have joined for the first time in the organization for new expansion or for new factory. So in flux method, I will consider all of them, all workers joined, that is whole 200, but in replacement, I will take only 150. Therefore, answer of method 1 plus 2 may not always be equal to answer of method 3. So this point you have to keep it in mind carefully, because there is a lot of confusion in the printed literature about flux method. Friends, I think we'll stop here for the day. So we are stopping at chapter number 3 today. See you tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll start with chapter 4, and chapter 4 is our overage topic. So tomorrow we'll deal with overage topic. Okay, bye.